Today we talk to a man who has broken a Limca record. He travelled solo from Leh to Kanyakumari and completed a whopping 3,800 kilometers in 56 hours and 20 minutes. Let's hear from him about his experience and the car he drove. So guys, welcome back to another video. Today is a very special video because we ran into someone very special. We are at KS Motorsports with the great Karan Shah here, and we've met Dhruveer. Now, he has done something epic and amazing. He has a Limca world record for doing a drive from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Imagine guys, that is a lot of kilometers, a lot of time. Alone, right. So he's done a solo trip all the way from the north of India to the south of India. Now, northernmost tip to the southernmost tip, which is commendable and amazing. And I don't know if I'll be able to ever do it, but maybe, who knows. So I think, yeah, let's get down to it. Basically, we are just going to run through the experience, and of course, Karan Shah has worked on the car, so we are going to explain a little about that as well. So yeah, let's get to it. First of all, how was the experience?
The experience was great. I mean, it was actually my father's dream, because in 2015 my father had attempted the same record, and he was on course for the record, but he met with an accident place next to Nagpur, and that was the end of the attempt for him. Though before he passed away in 2019, this record was the last conversation I had with my father.
Wow.
And therefore I attempted the same. Wow. And KS dines at the restaurant quite often. So one of these days when he was there, I told him about this crazy plan I had, and he said, you know, don't worry, I'll build you a car and you will do it for sure.
Wow.
So I mean, he's been a friend, big brother and mentor to me, and I don't think I could have done it without his support.
Wow, that's really nice to hear. And I mean, it's amazing that you've done such a great feat and completing your father's dream, which is amazing. I wish he was here to see it.
Yeah, I mean, now I believe he's now at peace.
Right.
So the previous record was for the fastest solo drive from Leh to Kanyakumari was 63 hours and 34 minutes, and I achieved the same in 56 hours and 20 minutes.
Wow.
So along with Karan, I was very fortunate to have the support of Mr. Hari Singh, who is the CEO of JK Tyre Motorsport and multiple time Indian Rally champion. He not only gave me the 6 tires I had requested from the JK Tyre Ranger series, but he followed my drive along with Karan on the GPS device installed on my car, and wherever both of them thought I was lacking, immediately I would get a call or message that you need to keep pushing and concentrate on the road.
Wow.
Especially in the last moments when I had kind of realized that I'll be breaking the record by a decent margin. Instantly I got a text from Mr. Hari Singh saying to keep pushing.
Wow.
So that was great, and turns out I didn't need 6 tires after all. I managed the entire journey. My tires were changed in Chandigarh, so I took my car from Chandigarh to Leh to Kanyakumari to Kerala, where I met the previous record holders for the team record, who helped me achieve the same, and the new record holders Samir and team F1 in Kerala. Again, I met them as well at close to midnight. Very sweet of them to come to the highway to meet me. So from Kanyakumari, Kerala, Bangalore and back to Mumbai, not one single flat tire. So that tells you the tires were really made of steel, I believe.
So, I mean, to think about it, you weren't truly alone because people were constantly with you and supporting you. And
I mean, without the support of friends, family, my alumni from Mayo College and Les Roches Hotel School, they all were in touch with me. They helped me at any way, where I would stop and I needed something, I would just message on our alumni groups, and I would get calls while my phone was always connected to the system, so I didn't need to get my hands on the phone.
Awesome. So before we move along, we should talk about what car it is, what car he drove. So let's get to that. So which car was it?
I took the Skoda Optiva 1.8 TSI.
Okay.
It was a 2019 model. So when I told people that I'm doing this trip, they thought I was crazy. When I told them I'm doing it in this car, they thought I was crazier. So when you need somebody to do something as crazy as you go to Karan Shah.
Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, and personally, we are a big fan of the Skoda Octavia as well.
Yeah,
Both of us have it, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So whoever the haters, I mean, you can ignore them. And of course, Karan would back me up on this as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, now just to give us an overview, what kind of work was done on this car? Just basics. Then we'll actually get into the details when we see the car.
Sure, we'll go out. Shida.
Yeah.
So when he told me he wants to do this and he said Octavia, I said yeah, top class, do it, because I've owned an Octavia. A lot of people know they call it the infamous 66. Yeah, we're all over the country, 10 years, some 2 lakh kilometers.
Wow.
So now his is the NQB Octavia, like your friend's Octavia,
Right.
your Octavia,
Yeah.
right? So over the years we made a couple of them, and we realized the correct combination of the gearbox and the engine map for power, smoothness, and long range drivability. There are maps which you can build and you can have for right now power, absolute jungly power. Efficiency is not happening because he's going to do 4,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that the map also gives fuel efficiency as well. So that's why I was very happy he chose the 1.8 because I've already built so many of them on the drag race apparently last year. A1, A2, first 2-3 cars were all Revo and TVS engineering maps combination. So I knew what I had to build for him. So it was no brainer. Suspension was different though.
So in such a long drive, does it also play a lot of influence on how the driver is comfortable to drive? Does that have an effect on what kind of modifications you're doing on the car for such a long trip?
No, for such a long, let me take that. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. If the driver does not adapt to the car, then he's not going to be comfortable. If he says, this is my comfort zone, you build for me, then product limitations aa jate hain. I cannot do just what I want to do. Now we know like a harder suspension is going to be awesome for such a long trip. But if he says with hard suspension I get a headache,
Correct.
then he's not going to sustain high speed.
Okay.
So he has to adapt to the car. Fortunately, it already done lots of drives in this car.
Yeah.
So he was used to the car, so I had to just add to his qualities that he is a good driver in this car. So I just added to the car.
So he took me out on a test drive first. He's like, we came here to his pump and he's like, let's drive to Panvel. I want to see how you drive and then I'll build your car. So I think we reached Timex and he's like, okay, now turn around the car.
Understood.
I understood what he was. So then he actually first took me on a drive, then he built the car that I wanted.
Awesome.
So, and in terms of the
I'm
ground
sure
clearance.
there's also a story of why you chose this car.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting into.
Yeah.
So the option was either to take a 4x4, which I don't own, which meant that I would have to approach some sponsors to sponsor me or lend me a vehicle, which is very difficult to trust somebody with your vehicle.
Right, of course.
So though I'd made a presentation to be sent to some of the companies, but then eventually he and another friend of mine, Mitesh, told me, you are confident in this car, why don't you do it in this car? So then I started researching as to what the issue would be if I take this car. So the number one issue was ground clearance. So all the other cars in comparison had a higher ground clearance than this car. So I went back to Karan, I was like, this is the problem. I'm happy to do it in this car, but this is my problem. So he put me on to Omkar from DNO Motorsport. I told him that the oil slump needs protection because from the stones from Leh to Manali is going to be a very harsh terrain.
Right.
So he built me a metal underbody, and then I got these spacers from Roger App. It's called Roger App Duo. So the springs don't compress completely
They don't
because
compress all the way. There is the last 1 inch still remaining for them to reach down.
So the potholes and all gives you a small, the smoother ride.
Lesser drive.
Yeah. Then I spoke to Mr. Hari Singh. I told him the same thing. You can't go too crazy on the tire size. So my normal tire size was 205, 55 and 16. So I requested Mr. Singh for 205, 60 and 16. That was also marginally. And that's also thanks to him. He said, "Nahi, tu 60 le." So I was like, okay, we'll take that. So and I drove them, they were brilliant. And so the problem of ground clearance was fixed. And once that was fixed, there's no catching this car on the plains. I mean, you can take any 4x4, will not match the speed of a stock car of a Skoda versus a stock car, and this car,
It was not a problem of ground clearance, it was his psychological need.
Yeah, that's what he kept telling me.
वो हो जाएगा, बाकी का मैं कर लूँगा, है ना? Like that.
So I needed Karan to help me through to reach Chandigarh from Leh. Then after that, after that,
Yeah,
I'll take over.
Yeah.
I told him.
So, but was the ride stiff or soft? What kind of ride?
Very average, regular Bombay road
Yeah.
quality.
Okay.
Nothing stiffer,
Great.
nothing softer. We did put in rear anti-roll stiffer bars
Okay.
because the Skoda is infamous for its understeer. So we put those 304 camber mount plates in the front,
Okay.
the anti-roll bar and the links on the back. So it just has a better control over his car at that speed that he's planning to do.
Perfect.
And more than the speed, it's the amount of time he's going to drive. You should not get fatigued. मैं थक गया हूँ.
Yeah.
And then I mean,
थक गया.
also I had a lot of support from Indian Oil also.
Oh,
So
okay.
they gave me fuel at strategic points and morale boosting. And senior from school, Nishant Gulati, was very instrumental in that. He actually took my route map and he worked out some fuel stations that were actually I was crossing on my route.
Wow.
And he requested them, and you know that really helped me. And he had suggested that I use octane boosters. I had carried them and I had forgotten to put them into my tank.
Okay.
Or in Nagpur, he called me. He's like, "Have you been using them?" I said, "No." So then he said, "Start putting them at every fuel stop." And then Indian Oil gave me the XP95.
Okay.
It gave me the high octane. It gave me the same kind of power. It felt like the car was in a different gear altogether with that fuel.
Yeah.
So that was great. Really grateful to Indian Oil and Nishant.
Awesome. And in all this, what was the most challenging part of this whole journey? I'm sure there must have been challenges. So.
Yeah, so the most challenging part was the drive from Leh to Chandigarh.
Okay.
So Leh to Manali is, as you know, there are you have river crossings, you have no roads, you have rocks, you drive through a desert, all of that. Like there's a patch where there are no roads, you drive through sand.
Definitely.
You don't know what's underneath, what's going to hit your car.
Yeah.
So a lot of chances. All in all, I was very fortunate. Plus, when I started my drive attempt on the 10th of September, the forecast was thunder showers in Leh, thunder showers in Bilaspur, thunder showers in Manali, and thunder showers in Chandigarh.
Oh.
Now on that stretch, if there's a thunder showers, I mean 99.9% you will get landslides.
Oh.
So I was very fortunate. God is great. I didn't get single drop of rain. All I got was from Manali to Bilaspur. I got these previous landslides.
Okay.
So where they were still blocking the road, so the traffic was really slow.
Okay.
So normally a journey that would take me 6 hours took me 8 hours.
Oh.
And I did get a fresh landslide from Leh to Manali, but I quickly got out of my car. I requested the JCB driver, I need to attempt this
Yeah.
record. He left what he was doing, got the JCB over, moved the stones that needed to be moved in order for me to progress.
Amazing.
So that was great. People help you when you need them.
Definitely,
So
yeah.
a lot of people helped me on the way. So I'm really grateful to that as well.
And the last leg of the journey also must have been very.
Last leg was you
For sure,
reach
anxiety.
yeah
For
you
sure,
get
anxiety.
to a point where okay, the record's achieved.
Almost.
You
It's in your hand.
it's in your hand. Don't do something stupid. And so then I decided I should ease off a little bit. And as soon as I tried to ease off, Mr. Hari Singh, I think he called or he texted while I was at the petrol pump, and I read the message at that time and he said, this is the last leg, stay focused, keep pushing. So I'm like, okay, might as well. Like I've done it for like 50 hours, another 2-3 hours is not going to make a difference. So then I kept pushing again. And then my final attestation happened at the Deputy Superintendent of Police, Kanyakumari. He was kind enough to sign my logbook at 1:05 p.m. on the 12th of September.
Wow.
And I was flagged off by Mr. Danish Gill, who is a Deputy GST Commissioner, Srinagar Division. Let me tell you, enthusiasts like us, he drove 10 hours from Srinagar to Leh only to flag me off at 4:45 in the morning.
Wow.
Because he was known to me. Otherwise, going and requesting somebody to get out of bed and flag you off at 4 o'clock, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
So he drove 10 hours from Srinagar to
My
Leh
God.
to flag me off. So
Very nice.
I'm really thankful to him as well.
Amazing. So guys, I think that's
pretty much,
about
yeah.
it for the journey. I think now what we should do is we should look at the car in detail because
Yeah.
that's a beast on its own, and I'm hoping Karan will also run us through the work that he's done. Of course, it's not stock, so a lot of work has been done
Yeah.
for it to complete this big journey. So let's move on to that now.
So lots of things done on this car. We'll get to the brakes in a bit, but we'll start from the front. A good intake. Make sure all fresh air goes into the system. So we use a AMS intake. Other than that, nothing here to really see. Engine tune is in this box here, but you can't see it. But there's an engine tune and a TVS gearbox tune. The engine tune was the Revo unit, Revo map. Only Revo is the company. And
so is it running stage 1, stage 2?
Stage 1. I could have pushed stage 2, but I've kept it on a stage 1.
Okay.
I didn't want the car to knock. Anyways, he was using octane boosters, but I still wanted. I know how good the map is.
Right.
So I knew there was no point trying to push out even another 10 horsepower more just at the cost of reliability.
Right.
I rather have. Anyways, we realized the car's making on the roller was making 227.
Okay.
On a stage 2, I made 235.
Yeah, not much difference.
For 7-8 horsepower, not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah? Then up here in the front, here we got the 034 Motorsport camber mounts. You can't see them. EBC yellow pads, steel braided brake lines. Tires are taller, 205 55, and we went to 205 60. So from 55 we went just marginally taller. So he's got more cushioning. Whatever rocks have to hit.
Right.
Hopefully no punches, which he says. Fortunately no puncture. Yeah, gearbox map, and here on the back again EBC pads, steel braided lines, and inside here we have the 034 Motorsport anti-roll bar, which are about 150% stiffer. Okay. Aluminium links. You remove the plastic links out, throw them, and you put aluminium links. Okay. So that reduces the rear swaying and the understeer, boaty feeling. He told me, he said, "Kya hoga?" I said, I feel the little boaty thing. Yeah. I said, but he just put this boaty feeling reduces.
Yeah. Perfect.
And exhaust is standard. We thought about it, but then he said, if I drive so many kilometers, I'll probably go deaf. Yeah. So we just have a downpipe and still running standard exhaust on the back. Okay. So he's running 227 horsepower with standard mufflers, which I was very happy with. Oh yeah, I forgot the Roger ka spacers inside. So the spring compression is last about 1.5 inch, does not go all the way down.
Okay.
So it does not bottom out, so to speak, on the up in the hills. On the road, on the plains, we were not worried. Problem was up on the hill.
Right. Perfect.
And yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, did you carry any supplies, essentials? How did you manage your food and everything else?
Yeah, I mean, he showed you the hood of the car. Let me show you the boot of the car.
Because as far as I understand, you have some interesting things with you.
Yeah. So this is my 5th tire, which is unused, and the 6th one is under the matting here. So as you can see, it's brand new. I had a jerry can of extra fuel for 5 liters. I had carried these Covi self kits.
You really thought.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm stopped on any state border and they wanted a test, I could just quickly do a test and show them the report. Amazing. And then be on my way.
No, what is that?
What is this?
Okay. On my research, during my research, I had seen a lot of videos and blogs from people traveling from Manali to Leh, and they all had AMS, altitude sickness, and difficulty in breathing. So they all suggested that I carry some oxygen canisters, which I did. And luckily I did, because when I was crossing Tanglangla Pass, making my way up to Leh, which is at 17,300 meters odd, I got off the car and I started to feel dizzy. So immediately I knew that was because of lack of oxygen. So I pulled one of these out, and while making my way down quickly, I started using these oxygen canisters. And after a few hits of oxygen, I had a oximeter somewhere here.
So oximeter.
Yeah, I had an oximeter. It's here somewhere. So oximeter reading was 55 after taking a few hits of this. So by the time I reached down, I was back at 80, and I remained at 89, 90 during my stay at Leh. So that kind of helped me acclimatize. And I had started taking those Dimox tablets 24 hours before. So one tablet 24 hours.
Wow, you really did research.
Yeah, there were a lot of preparations, because you see, I was doing a solo trip. So I couldn't leave anything to chance.
Definitely.
I mean, not the tires, not the GPS, nothing that would compromise my record, nothing that would compromise my safety.
Definitely.
And you know, my family were worried about me, so I had to make sure that I had everything on board to you know, give them some mental satisfaction as well.
Definitely.
So did you use that anytime on the planes? Like if you're tired after 10 hours of driving, did you put it on and drive?
I actually considered that, and I did do it once, because you know, I have read, I'm not sure, that casinos actually pump in fresh oxygen. If you go to a casino, you don't feel sleepy. The reason is because they have extra oxygen going into.
That's very
He's
interesting.
done a lot of
lot of
homework,
research.
That was something I did try at the planes once. But
Amazing, amazing stuff.
you didn't need it at the planes.
But it's commendable that you did so much research
Yeah,
and
man.
homework.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you cannot do it without
because he
research.
gave me all this list. Me, ye kya, wo kya, now we make cars for him, for sure.
so I guess that's about it. So thank you so much for giving us this
Thank you for having
opportunity.
us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you,
And-
PS.
Of course. Anytime. bro,
And
anytime.
congratulations
Thank you,
again for
thank
this amazing feat. And
So,
yeah, thank
see
you.
you.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you guys. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.